Welcome back. In our last snip, we explored the impact of interoperability impacts on one of the key groups of stakeholders, the payers or the health plans. Today, our focus is on the providers, and most of the developments in interoperability to date have been within and between provider systems. A number of EMR vendors, HIEs or health information exchanges, and other collaboratives as well as for the for-profit API vendors have already contributed significantly to the interoperability advances. So Michael, with all these developments over the years, how mature is interoperability from a provider system perspective?
Well, I think there's no doubt that provider systems are well ahead of the other key stakeholders. Fundamentally, we should look at two important aspects of interoperability as it matters to providers to illustrate. First, when looking at any one health system, the consolidation in the industry and the corresponding implementations of EMRs that span pretty much every aspect of any given system, the industry is moving rapidly towards a very mature and rather comprehensive way of sharing clinical data within a system. That is obviously great news, and I think we're seeing this as consumers when we go onto patient portals where we can see everything from our encounters to our prescriptions, to our labs, treatment plans, and other things. The second way to look at interoperability for providers is the external perspective. So generally the same developments that we see for other key stakeholders, like we discussed last time with payers, apply here for the providers. Most importantly, many use cases for the patients and payers, as well as interactions between providers, are really going to benefit significantly from the changes we'll see ongoing and coming up in interoperability in general.
So Michael, when we talked about payers last time, you predicted that intermediaries in the ecosystem, they'll be significantly impacted going forward. Will that also apply on the provider end? And maybe I can pull up the ecosystem diagram that we used before to have you walk us through that. Sure.
And yes, we are predicting similar developments for intermediaries that align on the provider side of the ecosystem. ROI vendors are a good example for that we predicted on the payer side of things. And again, if we look at the future state slide, as you can see here, we believe that on the one hand, HIEs will remain an important part of that ecosystem for the time being. And at the same time, we believe that capabilities currently provided by intermediaries will very likely move towards further maturing EMR systems and therefore basically move even closer to the providers. So this trend is well underway, and it will, generally speaking, be very beneficial as the interoperability-driven use cases on the provider side will become faster, will become more accurate, even more secure, and significantly less expensive.
Great. Okay, so we obviously expect to see interoperability driving significant strategic changes for providers as well. And thank you very much, Michael, for walking us through that. And that's it for today. Catch us next time as we'll go into the consumer and patient end of interoperability.